Hi guys, Dave here for Big Jeepers Garage. Today, our goal is to install this on the Comanche. What is this, you may ask? This is the shift cable that runs from the steering column to the transmission. The one that was on there previously had frozen and wouldn't move, and we were under the impression that there was something wrong inside the steering column. So I spent probably 2 days tearing the steering column apart, putting it back together, tearing it apart, putting it back together, until I decided, hey, let's pop that cable off and see if it's fine. And lo and behold, it was fine. So I learned a lot about steering columns. Too bad I didn't film any of it. But so we're going to install this, and I'm going to show you how it goes. All right. Okay guys, here we are underneath the dash. And I'll point out to you, right here is the end of the cable, and that has been detached from the shifter, which now moves freely in the column. But what we've got to do is over here on this side, right here, there's a clip that I'm going to use a pair of pliers, and I'm going to push in, and it's going to come out of the mounting, and then we're going to pull it out through the firewall. So normally you would just take a screwdriver and pry this piece off right here. And then I'm going to use a pair of, like I said, I'm going to use a pair of pliers to squeeze this and depress this tab and the tab on the top. But I don't think I can film it because I need 2 hands to do that. Okay, so I've gotten this loose. What I ended up doing was I compressed the 2 tabs on the end, and then I simply used the screwdriver to pry this piece the rest of the way through. Now once I get this the rest of the way out, there we go. It's out now. Now all I have to do is pull it the rest of the way out of the bracket and pull it through the firewall, and then we can go down underneath. Okay, so I had to remove the washer fluid bottle that was sitting right here in order to get down here to find this cable. The cable runs out here. It comes through the firewall right here. So all I got to do now is pull this out the rest of the way, which once again I cannot do with one hand. So I'm going to go ahead and... Okay, here's the end of the cable. What I ended up doing was pulling it through this bracket back here so that it makes a straight line, because as soon as this goes through the firewall, it makes a 180-degree turn to go back down to the transmission. So once I turn this around, this should slide right out. Okay, coming back around. Well, nothing's as easy as it seems. There we go. We have it out of the cab. There's the end right there. All right, now we're going to go down underneath and disconnect down there. All right, guys, here we go. This is the other end on the transmission. If you can't see, just a second here. I'll point at it right there. Here's the other end of the cable. Now up here is an end similar to the other side, the other one. I can't get the light. There we go. Now all I got to do is compress that with these pliers, and it should pop out going the opposite direction. But my backup plan is, if you see, there's a bracket right here with 2 bolts on it, and I will remove that if I need to, and then pull the cable down this direction to get it out. But I'm not going to pull that cable out right away. Once I get it disconnected from this bracket, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the end of the new cable and I'm going to duct tape it to the end of the old cable, and I'm going to pull it through so that it comes down here. I'm going to pull the old cable out through the bottom, and it's going to pull the new cable down to where I need it to be, and then I just run it back through this bracket. All right, let's see how this goes. I'm going to have to put the camera down again. Okay guys, so we were successful in getting this end off. Just to show you, the bracket is not a perfect circle. It's got a slot in the side that once you get it up so far, you can slide the cable through it so that you're not trying to back it all the way out. What I did, rather than compress these, I was having difficulty and it felt pretty brittle, so I decided to go ahead and take a screwdriver and pry on them and break the tabs off. That was much easier, since we weren't going to be reusing this cable at all, since it was bad and it's frozen. I figured I would just go ahead and break it because I have absolutely no use for this. Okay, so as you see here, I've loosely duct taped this. I don't want to get crazy because I don't want to be fighting with duct tape down underneath there trying to get it off. So we're going to pull this cable from the bottom. The old cable is going to pull the new cable down through to the proper area. Then before I connect it, I'm going to run it back through the firewall into the steering column. All right. Okay, slight change in plan. The bottom, since it's so fat, it doesn't want to come up through. So what I'm going to do is cut it off, which I've already done. And I'm going to tape the new cable to the bottom and pull it up through, because this has this big fat end. I'm going to pull back down through, and all I've got is this grommet and this skinny little end. So I will tape this grommet forward, tape the grommet to the front, and wrap the tape around the old cable as soon as I clean it up, and we will pull that up through, see how that goes. Otherwise, we got it up through. We had to pull some of the wire looms out of the way down here behind the motor. It's pretty nasty. We're definitely going to have to degrease this again probably next spring before we get underneath there and do any serious work. But we're going to have to find these leaks soon so that we don't have to deal with this. But I'm going to run this back through the firewall as such. Put that plug in place, and now I'm going to go down underneath and put it in place. Okay, so we've got this down through the bracket, and before I run it, well, let's see, pull it down through the bracket a little bit, but what I'm going to do is I need the play down at this end to get it to make that 180-degree turn at the firewall and hook it back up to the steering column. So we're going to hook it to the steering column first, and I'm going to come back down here and pull it through, which should snap the clip in, and then slide this right onto there, and that should do it. One of the things I didn't catch till just now is this right here. I don't know how good the light is. This piece right here on the part that goes to the column is keyed. It actually has a piece that faces towards the front, because I recall this thumb piece being right here. Basically, that has to go in the hole a certain way or it won't press through. And I just spent 20 minutes trying to get this through there before I realized that it was like that. So pay attention to things like that, because I do. Okay, so it's in place, and all I have to do is put that onto the column. But first, we're going to go down and hook up down underneath so that we're not fighting back and forth, and we still have some flexibility to move it around while we're trying to get it into the bracket down below. All right. Okay, so we are now connected at the bottom. We put the end on, and that is through the bracket. Also, when you pull this through the bracket, you have to line up the key on it. I will show you on the old parts after I'm done with the installation. Okay guys, so underneath the dash, when I was talking about these clips that we're going to squeeze together, right here's the clips you just need to squeeze together to pull this out. And when you install it, this clip, well, I would call it a key, because the hole underneath the dash is not round, so this keeps the cable from twisting. So when you install it, that has to go back in. What I was doing was I was trying to put it in the opposite direction and it would not go. All right, now on the bottom, when you pull the bottom through, this is the very end. So when you pull the bottom through, here's the key here. That goes in the slot in the bracket that I showed you earlier, and that's the key. Then once you get it in there, it snaps in place. You can see right here where I broke the clips off removing this because it was frozen. Yeah, the long part of the cable is definitely frozen. It wasn't at this end. Okay, so this part right here, there's a screwdriver slot here. You can pull this piece out. And what it does is it allows you to adjust where your cable needs to be. So what you're going to do is you're going to put your vehicle in park, put your gear shift in park. There you go. You're done. That is how we adjust this. The fun part is mine is underneath there now and it's facing away from where I can see. So I'm going to have to do this blindly. You just pry that piece up out so it starts to move. And now you can see the ribs here underneath the spring and the ribs here, and you just basically adjust it. As long as you're in the same gear as your selector is, you can just crawl back underneath there and push this down and snap it into place, and it holds it. And that's how you adjust it. Okay, so when you're making your adjustments on the bottom, like I said, you can use this tab, and the best place to put your transmission selector is to go ahead and manually put your transmission in low gear. The lowest gear it'll go, and then you pull down on your cable and it sets it, lock it in place, and you're done. Then basically, if you took your column apart like I did, you have to set your needle. You just reach up underneath the dash, pull it off the column, line it up in the proper gear, make sure it goes all the way down to low one when you're doing it, and you're done. So that wraps up today on how to put on this. This is your gear selector cable. All right, till next time. God bless you. Have a nice day.